Hi, I'm Old Norse Specialist Dr. Jackson Crawford. In many of my videos on this channel about runes, I've mentioned the rune poems as the sources, or most important sources anyway, of our names for the runes. Now, the names of the runes are best known in their Elder Futhark forms today, but in fact they are never given in any written source from the ancient period in which the Elder Futhark was used. We don't actually have direct evidence of the names of the runes in Elder Futhark. Instead, those names are reconstructed from the evidence of the rune poems about the Younger Futhark, the Old Icelandic rune poem and the Old Norwegian rune poem, and about the Anglo-Frisian Futhark, the Old English rune poem. In this video, what I'm going to do is read to you my favorite of those rune poems, the Old Norwegian rune poem, in Old Norse with reconstructed early medieval Old Norwegian pronunciation, and then in my own English translation. So here we go. Fe velder frænda rogi, föðisk úlfur í skógi. Úr af illum jörni, oft hlaupur hrein og hjarni. Þors velder kvenna kvillu, kótur verður for af illu. Ós flestra ferða for, en skólpur sverða. Reið kveða rossum versta, regen sló sverðið betsta. Kján boygja barna, ból gerir mann fólvan. Hagal kaldastar korna, Kristur skóp heiminn forna. Náð gerir neppa kosti, nyktan kelur í frosti. Ískollum brú breiða, blindan þarf að leiða. Or gumna góði, getk að or var fróði. Sól landa ljómi, lútik að helgum dómi. Týr einhendur ósa, oft verður smíður að blósa. Bjarkan láfgrunnstur líma, Loki bar flærðar tíma. Maður moldar auki, mikil greip og hauki. Logur fellur úr fjalli foss, en gull hnossir. Yr veturgrunnstur víða, vant brennur að svíða. And now my translation of that. Wealth causes fights among family. A wolf is born in the woods. Slag is born from bad iron. A reindeer often runs on snowpack. Giant makes maladies for women. Not many men are merry for bad news. Rivermouth is the root of most journeys. The path of a sharp sword is its sheath. Riding, they wager, is worst for horses. Regin produced a peerless sword. Blister is the bane of children. Evil makes a person turn pale. Hail is the coldest of corns. Christ created the age-old world. Emergency makes a shortage of options. A naked man freezes in the frost. Ice is what we call a broad bridge. A blind man must be shown the way. Harvest is a profit for people. I guess Froði was a friendly host. Sun is the light of lands. I bow to holy business. Tyr is one-handed among the high Aesir. A smith often has to blow the bellows. Birch has the greenest leaf limbs. Loki struck lucky with lies. Mankind is mud given glory. A hawk holds strong. Lake falls from a mountain and a waterfall. Pricey things are produced from gold. Yew is the greenest of the woods in winter. Though it burns, it's a chore to char. And this is actually one of the few translations I have done from Old Norse into English that has endeavored to keep or sort of recreate alliteration in English, but it's fairly easy in this. Of course, the entire purpose of the rune poems is probably to help people simply remember the runes by making a memorable alliterating set of poetic lines that help you remember the name of each letter. And of course, since the name is a word, that word can be used in a sentence, which then can alliterate in a memorable way. We're actually very lucky to have this poem, as it's known from only one source, a copy made by Olav Worm in 1636 in his Latin work, the Danica Literatura Antiquissima. This poem is probably to be dated to maybe the 1000s originally. There are already some distinctly Norwegian sound changes. For instance, the H has disappeared before L, N, and R, producing forms like rosum instead of hrosum for horses, dative plural, nepa instead of nepa. These are very distinctly Norwegian forms, which distinguish it as being not a work of Icelandic, but it is still West Norse as opposed to East Norse, the language of medieval Sweden and Norway. And of course, we can date it to after the Christianization of the country because of the mentions of Christ and holy business, but in a time when the lore of the old gods was still preserved. For instance, in mentioning Tyr, although it's notable that the use of the fourth rune has already changed by the time this has been composed, so probably this is also an indication that it was composed after the year 1000. It has changed from being the nasal A to being the letter for O, and the name of the rune has also changed accordingly. Instead of Os with the nasal long A, meaning God, one of the families of gods, it's the singular of the word Asir, it is called Os, meaning river mouth. So a fair amount of evidence comes together to suggest the original date of this is somewhere in the 1000s, so probably before 1100, but definitely after the year 1000. I make these videos for free in beautiful places because I don't believe that knowledge should be locked up in an ivory tower, nor do I believe that knowledge on the internet should be limited to the public domain and sources like Wikipedia. If you enjoy these efforts, I hope that you'll consider checking out my Patreon page where you can help me make these videos for $1 a month or whatever else you're comfortable with. I also, of course, have translated the Poetic Edda as well as the Saga of the Volsungs, and in the next couple of years, my translations of the Saga of Hervor and Haedrek and the Prose Edda will be coming out. For now, from beautiful Wyoming, I'm wishing you all the best.